Hello, let's discuss the metaphysical astrology zodiac signs and dates. The dates are more accurate than mainstream Western zodiac dates, such as the dates expressed in tropical astrology. So you can be confident the metaphysical astrology dates are correct. I'll be quickly showing you where the sun is in the sky on the dates I reference. Then you can decide which zodiac system is more accurate and thus more useful to us. Here are the most up-to-date sidereal, which the word sidereal just means the actual observable locations of the planets and other celestial bodies in the sky. Okay? So, with that said, metaphysical astrology's zodiac birth dates are, starting with Aries, of course, April 21st to May 12th. Okay, so here you can see the sun, and you can see it is at 0 degrees on April 21st. See that the sun is most definitely at the start of Aries. However, I want you to look at this. You see how Aries doesn't really pass through the ecliptic? There are some minor stars that are nearby outside of this small form that you see here. However, I want to show you this constellation, Cetus. Now, Cetus may be here. There's two major stars in Aries, so Aries is more dominant. However, when you get further in, Cetus is actually closer to the ecliptic than the star Aries, which is closer to the ecliptic here, and it has these two very strong stars that are influencing this part of the ecliptic. So what am I telling you? I'm telling you, is that a new constellation? No, that is not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that when in metaphysical astrology, we read both of these energies. So from April 21st to May 12th, yes, it is the constellation of Aries. However, from April 28th to May 5th, it is also influenced by the energy of Cetus. All right. So it's a dual constellation. Two energies are going on here. So let's move on to Taurus, which you can see is here. The sun goes into Taurus, 0 degrees on May 13th. So the dates of Taurus, the constellation Taurus, are May 13th through June 21st. Okay, so let's look at that in the sky. Okay, what do we see here? We see Taurus, and as I said, it comes to an end on June 21st, right? And then we see Gemini, and Gemini is starting on the 22nd. So we have this constellation here in between. There's a gap, and this is the constellation of Orion. It is not touching the ecliptic, but its energy is definitely influencing this gap. As a matter of fact, these extremely powerful stars all through this constellation are actually influencing more of Taurus. As a matter of fact, they influence the Taurus energy from June 6th all the way to the 22nd. So when I read this energy in the chart, again, there will be a blend between Taurus and Orion. Now, you might ask me, how do I know that this is influenced, that this Orion is influencing this part of Taurus? Well, actually, there's a couple factors. And I will get into that later at a later date in another video. But I'm just letting you know that this is most definitely influencing beyond the shadow of a doubt. This is very much like how the energy of a Fucus is not a separate constellation, but is a co-constellation with Scorpio. As you can see, their stars both start at about the same degree of the ecliptic. That's, of course, the path of the sun. And you can't see in this, but I'll show you another shot. the tail of the scorpion is right here. So they're both ending at the same time as well. But of course, the power of the Scorpio is more pronounced where it is crossing the ecliptic. And of course, the power of a Fucus is more pronounced where it is crossing the ecliptic. But throughout this time period, they are both influencing the chart or the natal chart or whatever is being read. Okay, so this is also a co-constellation with two constellations, the energy of two constellations influencing this part of the sky at the same time. So with Orion influencing the sky from here to here, 0 degrees Gemini is actually on the 22nd of June. So it goes from the 22nd of June until July 17th. So let's look at this in the sky as well. So again, just to recap, we have the Orion who's reaching up to ecliptic. And I have read, there are some writings that say that because of the tilt of the Earth has changed over time, that at one time that Orion did touch the ecliptic. And now, since it is tilted the other way, Ophiuchus that is directly opposing this constellation is now touching the ecliptic. But anyway, the energy still stands. As time goes and you hear me talk more and more about Orion, you will know why this energy is so important still in our lives and must be read in our charts for them to be accurate readings. Okay, so then we have Taurus, Orion, and then Gemini. And then this is incorrect, and actually a very good astrologer who I like very much. He's, I believe, a sidereal astrologer. His name is Michael Hartigan. His site is One Sky Astrology. I think I have it posted on my site somewhere. Anyway, he did point out that this was incorrect, the way the Cancer is drawn, and that it should be ending here with two major stars in this area. So there is, again, a gap between Gemini and Cancer. So this is interesting. I'm just going to use a slightly different view that has more stars. So you can see that the two strong stars of Cancer are here, and that this constellation should actually be drawn like so. In this gap that we see between these constellations, we now see Canis Minor. And there is a major star here that is very important, and this is influencing this part of the sky. So again, this is not a constellation. It's not an extra constellation. It's not an extra zodiac sign, but just know that the other mainstream astrology schools, they like to call it astrological because they wanted to make it very simple by dumbing it down. But if you don't read these influences in the sky and make note of them, then when you're doing readings, it's one thing if, let's say, your sun is right in the heart of Gemini or right in the heart of Leo, right? Or right in the heart of Taurus. Then the reading will be accurate. But if your sun is here, it's not Gemini and it's not Cancer. So your reading will not be accurate. And if you have your sun here, you are not Taurus alone and you are not Gemini. You are being influenced by Orion. So this is where metaphysical astrology, it's very precise because it is designed to be a useful tool in your life to help you not be a slave to astrology and astrology readings and astrology reports, but to learn how all of these different aspects influence you so you can rise above, you can master it, and then be free. So it's kind of like fate and free will. Instead of, having predictive astrology tell you your fate, you have an astrology, metaphysical astrology, which can free you from that and tell you exactly how to do it. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, so I think I said Gemini is the 22nd of June to July 17th with Canis Minor. here between Gemini and Cancer, influencing the cusp there. Okay, so then we get, and that would be July 18th to July 21st for Canis Minor. All right, so then we get to Cancer. Cancer, it's actually July 21st because of Canis Minor. So here it is at the 0 point, and this would actually be on July 21st. And that goes till August 7th. And then we get to Leo. And of course, Leo with the sun at home here, uh, nothing goes wrong. And it's very exact on August 7th. It enters and then it leaves on September 16th. Okay, so here we have Leo, and this is the very end of Cancer. And that is correct. And this is the start of Leo. So you see that it is starting on that time. They're very close. So on the cusp, that would blend a bit. And then we go straight to the tail of Leo. And then we see Virgo starting. Okay, so very clean, very precise, very focused, just like the sun. Then we go straight into Virgo. Virgo is September 16th through November 3rd. Okay, so here we see Virgo right after Leo, starting right after Leo. And it is a very long side. And you'll see, as you saw on, I'll show you again on the astrological wheel or the astrology wheel, how long this sign is. And I did a video explaining the sixth house Virgo Mercury triad as interpreted through metaphysical astrology yesterday. And as you can see, this is very important energy because it takes up a lot of time during our year. It's a very special focus, and that goes from September 16th all the way to November 3rd. So you might want to check out that video because it's very important. It's just passed, but it's just good if you have Virgo is very strong in your natal chart. It would be very helpful to you as well. From there, we go, well, I'll just show you. You can see how long the Virgo sign is in comparison to signs like Cancer or Aries, which is, also Cetus. Anyway, so we're going into Libra now, and Libra actually enters on the 4th of November. So that is more accurate. So the 4th to the 26th. I love looking at Libra because Libra looking just so balanced on the ecliptic. Look, it's as if it's hanging like a balance here off the ecliptic. You can either go up or you can go down. You choose. Anyway, so yes. So Libra goes from November 4th to the 22nd. And it's very close. I have my brother is actually born in the 22nd. So that's directly on the cusp of Sagittarius, very close constellations. It's right on the cusp of a Fucus and Scorpio, very close. This is a Fucus up here and Scorpio is down here. So that ends on the 22nd, which is actually my brother's birthday, which was yesterday. Okay. So, and then we go into Scorpio here, and that starts on November 23rd and goes to December 18th. And I'm going to discuss why and how a Fucus plays a role here as well. Okay. So we see here a Fucus and Scorpio, and people have been splitting these two up. But in metaphysical astrology, we do not split these in half. These are just like directly opposing here. We had Taurus and Orion. Here, as you can see, it's direct. We have a Fucus and Scorpio. But these energies are more combined than completely separate. So let me show you why I say that. Here is a Fucus up on this is the equator, the celestial equator. But it does come down and pass through the ecliptic, the sun's ecliptic, right? But as you can see, and we spoke about this a little earlier, so this is Scorpio. Here are its claws. It's starting here and it's ending here. Let me make this a little clearer. This is Scorpio and this is a fucus. And as we said, of course, where Scorpio goes across the ecliptic, its influence is stronger, and also with the fucus. We already said that, right? However, as you can see, once a fucus passes this area, Scorpio's energy, there's quite a few stars here. The tail of the scorpion are definitely influencing this space. And this space is the galactic center. Now, everyone says that the galactic center is 0 degrees Sagittarius, which is right here. So the galactic center actually goes this way. You see that? That is the galactic center. So Scorpio, it's not just Sagittarius. Sagittarius is involved here, Scorpio is involved here, and a fucus, and Aquila, which I'll talk about in a second. So to really understand this, we have to understand how all of these energies work together in this part of the sky. All right. So again, I just want to say that the dates for Scorpio are November 23rd through December 18th, because I blend them in the metaphysical astrology. We are blending these two. All right. But a fucus is from December 4th to December 18th. All right. The sun goes into Sagittarius on December 18th through January 18th. But I want to show you something interesting here. Again, we have a large gap between the constellation of Sagittarius and the constellation of Capricorn. And here we have a very powerful star, which constellation Aquila, sorry about that, I kind of didn't do a very good job there, goes through the equator. And I'll tell you that like Orion and like Ophiuchus and like Cetus, all of these constellations, secondary energies that are influencing these constellations, they all run through the celestial equator. Okay, we'll talk about that at another time. So we have Sagittarius from December 18th to January 18th, and then we have Aquila, especially the star Altair is right here, and that is influencing the ecliptic from January 18th to January 23rd. You might think that's a big distance to influence, but I'll show you some other things in the chart that will show you that that is not. And as a matter of fact, all these stars, every single star here is affecting us. However, there's just not enough time in the day to do reports that include every single star in the sky. And this chart isn't showing you all the stars. It's just showing you primary stars. So just imagine that. So you can see it more directly, that this is definitely influencing this part of the chart. So Capricorn runs from January 23rd to February 16th. Then we get to Aquarius, one of my favorites. Okay, and the sun enters Aquarius on February 15th, and it goes until March 10th. And here it is. Here's Aquarius. And I want to just show you again the blending of energies here. So we see that the stars here are actually in Capricorn, and then the stars end here as we're going into Pisces. However, there are writings that say that these stars at one time belonged to the constellation of Aquila. So that's an interesting fact. and also underscores the fact that it is definitely influencing the focus of the sun as it goes through this part of the chart. Okay, that said, even though here, whether these were originally from Aquila or not, this area here is overlapping Capricorn, and that's an important fact also. And so there is a blending here, a very important blending at the end of Capricorn with the energy of Aquarius. You can also see it's very important, the energy of Aquarius, because like Virgo, it spans, and also like Pisces, it spans a great distance on our zodiac. And finally, we're in Pisces. The sun enters 0 degrees Pisces on March 10th and goes on until also a long distance, also goes on into April to April 21st. And I just want to, before I go any further with that, I just want to show you that again, you see Aquarius, but Aquarius did go into Capricorn. So at a later date, we'll talk more about that. But it is really important to blend these energies when talking about. So, as you can see, metaphysical astrology does recognize constellations and does read the energies for constellations of Fucus, Orion, and then the major stars in Canis Minor and the major stars in Aquila. However, we don't just keep breaking down and adding more and more constellation dividers within our chart. We blend these energies. The astrological schools, they just like to chop everything up to make everything kind of average things, just to make them easier to understand, I guess, for the masses. But yes, it's less accurate. So I prefer to just actually blend the energies in the reading so they are very precise. So this makes metaphysical astrology's zodiac readings more precise and therefore more useful in charting the most accurate and universal energies at play in a chart at any time. So stay tuned for more on metaphysical astrology and how it can free you from endless predictive mainstream astrology reports, helping you master universal forces that affect us all, learning how to use the forces to our advantage and in a way that can better your life in all ways. If you want more evidence of how accurate metaphysical astrology readings are, please check out the astrology or the celebrity astrology natal chart playlist entitled Saint or Sinner, You Decide on this channel. Okay, until we meet again, I wish you a divinely guided day. Bye bye now. Bye bye.